Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everything Etc. I'm your host, Shaman and Hana, and it's a pleasure to have you listening to the show today. Today, we're talking all things childcare and teaching, as I'm joined by our guest for today, Hana Robertson. Hana, how are you?
Good, how are you, Shaman?
Good, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Hana is in her second year of teaching, second year of primary teaching at the University of South Queensland.
Yep.
Southern Queensland?
Yeah.
I always get that wrong. And in your spare time, you have hobbies of dancing in a style called physical culture.
Yeah, so phys is like calisthenics, with the men used to do it in the war.
Yeah.
And now women just do it. So we do 5 types of dancing, like hip-hop, contemporary, floor drill, and we go to competitions like 5 times a year, travelling all the way to Sydney for regional dances. If you get in top 15, you dance at the Opera House.
Have you ever danced at the Opera House before?
No, I haven't, but I've got to the semi-finals.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jeez, I gotta get into physio. Work my calisthenics
Sorry, man. It's girls only.
Is it actually girls only? Like, I can't do it. So it's like, if I wanted to do it, they'd be like, no.
You could dance at class, but you can't dance in competitions.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe it'd be good practice then.
One day.
One day. Okay, Hana, to start the podcast off today, we're going to play a little game.
Sure.
Now, since we're talking about all things teaching today, I thought it'd be fun to play a little, like, association, you could say, game. We're talking about who would be the best teacher out of these 5 characters.
Ooh.
And these are all 5 fictional characters here.
Okay.
So, our first character here is Mr. Incredible. Do you think he would be a good teacher?
Oh, when I watched the Incredibles movie, which I have watched a few too many times.
It's a good movie, though.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible taught Dash some maths, and Dash cried a bit. So I'm going to say no. He could work on his teaching. Yeah. But overall, no. I think he's a bit too disciplinary.
Yeah.
But overall, no.
I actually think that's fair.
Next one.
Okay, second one is Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Well, he did leave his son, so that's a bit
and
of
his daughter. That's a bit crazy.
How would he deal with the children at school? No. I think he led his troops, actually. Mm-hmm. So I think he'd be able to lead a class, yeah.
He was a pretty good leader.
He would have rules. He would have a strong structure, routine.
And what happens when a kid mucks up? He's like, "Argh."
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you want to do that in childcare, but we got to resist.
Could Darth Vader resist?
We got to keep the force back, but that's okay.
I swear he couldn't. He'd be like, how's he go? Why aren't you listening? I don't know what he'd say. Next is Barbie. Do you think Barbie would be a good teacher?
She has a lot of wisdom. We did talk about, I think, about her careers. So it could be in her closet of careers there.
Because she's like everything.
She is everything. Yeah. Barbie Life in the Dream House. Yeah, she could be one day a teacher. I think that's up to her creators. Yeah. Mattel there.
Mattel's going to figure out.
Mattel's going to figure that out.
Talking about Barbie, do we think Ken would be a good teacher?
Oh, no.
Really?
Ken's a bit lost. He might need to go back to 2nd grade.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that.
That's that Ryan... What is that name?
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling hate, right? Yeah.
Ryan Gosling definitely portrayed Ken quite well, I would say.
I thought he was actually great.
Yeah.
He was very good. Now, next one is Terminator.
Terminator. I've never watched a Terminator, Shaman.
Really?
Yeah.
We were talking about this before the podcast, actually. I told Hana that I think the Terminator wouldn't be a good teacher. Oh. Because he'd be leaving the class all the time. He'd be saying, I'll be back. That was such a bad voice. But that's why I think the Terminator won't be a good teacher. Okay, so
next. If he'll be back, will he be back?
No, he just doesn't. Actually, no, but he was good with kids in the movie, though.
Okay.
So I reckon he might be a good teacher.
He'll just come back with, like, some chocolates or something.
Actually, no, I think he would be a good teacher. Yeah? He'd be like, everyone would like him. Yeah. Because he's, like, a robot. And then he'd be all cool. Like, imagine when he leaves the class, he's like, I gotta go get something. He'd turn to the class and look at him with, like, his red eyes. He'd be like, I'll be back. And the class would go like, whoa.
Yeah, I like a cool teacher.
Yeah, I think he'd actually be good. And next is Elsa.
You know what? If the children were talking too much, he could just freeze them. So she would be really good.
Freeze them to death?
Yeah. I mean,
how does she unfreeze them? Can Elsa unfreeze stuff?
I don't know, can she?
So what if she freezes the kids? They're just frozen forever?
Just their feet.
And they don't have feet?
Yeah.
That's criminal. I don't
know about her teaching skills. The movie doesn't really go over that much. True. But
I think she'd be good
behavior would be.
In behavior, yeah. I don't think she'd be a good primary school teacher.
No. Yeah. Maybe high school.
Yeah,
I don't know what subject, though. Maybe English. I don't know why.
She seems like an English teacher. Or humanities teacher.
Yeah, that could work.
But I reckon
Geography.
Geography is fair. Yeah. Or science, because she's all like ice
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
true.
Like states of change.
There you go.
I don't think she'd be a good primary school teacher though, because imagine when like a little girl, boy is like, "Oh, can you hold my hand?" She can't. She just let it go.
Oh my gosh. I'm leaving now, guys.
Now, so you're doing teaching.
Yep.
You also work at a childcare centre.
Yes.
Where you're the second in command there.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Just started.
Does that help you in your degree, or does the teaching degree help you, like vice versa?
I think the teaching degree helps my work.
Okay.
And it helps a lot of people at my work.
Yeah.
It's helped me step up.
Yeah.
To where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm only just started my second year, and I'm quite high up. I just turned 20.
Yeah.
And not many people are at where I'm at this age, so
you reckon the teaching degree is what
teaching degrees definitely helped.
What even led you to pick teaching as a career though?
I think it was like when I moved schools in year 8.
Yeah.
They asked me what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
When I was older, I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, who knows what they want to be when they're older? I'm 13. Like, and then when I got to about year 10, I was like, you know what? Like, I can take the lead. I was out of my comfort zone. I was doing more things. I became like school leader, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the path for me. I want to show people what to do. I didn't want to be in charge of people.
Yeah.
Like, but I wanted to help people and understand what they're going through. So I think teaching's the right path to do that.
Was it like always your dream career? Was it like other things?
No, I wanted to be a real estate agent.
Really?
Only because I wanted to see other people's houses.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And you could like walk in and but that's fair. You know, it's like Phil Dunphy energy. Have you watched Modern Family?
Parts of it.
You know how Phil Dunphy's like the real estate agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the same energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about how as you became a school leader, as you became older in school, you realized that you wanted to lead, but you didn't want to you wanted to help people, not so much as lead.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a specific moment in your life that you can attribute to like you realizing that? Or it's more of like a development?
I think it's a development.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point in time where I was like, yes, teacher.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do it. Like, because I've been teaching dancing as well. So I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. And I've been teaching dancing for the last 6 years. I stopped last year though.
Oh, okay.
But I think teaching dancing's helped as well. I was like in that area. And I was like, okay, I love teaching dancing. What if we push to another level where I can teach something else? And I always love studying and learning something new.
Yeah.
So when you're teaching other people something new, you're also learning at the same time.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be learning something new every day about not only the content we're learning, but the children and their different behaviours.
Yeah.
So I think that's what drove me to teaching.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective. We're not only learning about the content, but we're learning about the children and their behaviours. Because that's like, if not the biggest factor of teaching, right? How you interact with the children, how you understand the behaviours, how you recognise what their needs and things like that.
Yeah, and a lot of the new content at uni is behaviour driven. It's not like I've done 3 classes on maths, English. The rest are behaviour.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's like how to handle a class.
How to handle class, children, how their emotions can do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that those classes are more important than the content classes? Like they're more useful?
I don't think more useful. I think they're just as important because we still have to learn how to teach the like maths and English and science. And I haven't learned that stuff since I was back in school, and you don't learn that now. So I think they're just as equal. Yeah. Yeah,
that's fair. Actually, Hannah, you have a really good teacher voice, and she's taught me how to use my teacher voice.
I have taught Shaman.
Do you think that's something that comes naturally for some people? Do you have to be a type of person to do teaching, or you can be anyone?
I think you do.
Yeah.
You have to hold back your own emotions.
Yeah.
It can't just be you can't sit there and go, oh no, a child hurt me.
Yeah.
Emotionally. So we have to just push through it, really. And empathetic a lot of the time. You just have to be there for everyone. And not all the time people get along with everyone. I find that I have a connection with a lot of people, and it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
So just finding that connection with everyone. And you know what? Shaman has that. So Shaman could be a teacher if he wants to change careers.
I don't know if I change careers, but it's an interesting consideration. Because I got some friends going into teaching this year. They're starting. Yeah. And I think they're all like, the one guy I'm thinking of, he's a great guy. He's very lovable, very personable. He's great to talk to. And I honestly think the kids will love him. Mm-hmm. It's like that type of like personality, like characteristic of like you're just a likable person. Yeah. Is that useful in teaching?
I think so, yeah.
Does that help with like controlling the class, so it's like completely two different things?
I think it does. You have to, like, we talk a lot about relationships and connections in the classroom with the children. There's a lot of, I found that last year half of our group of uni students dropped out.
Oh, really?
Because they didn't like teaching.
Jeez, yeah.
Because of the relationships they have to build with the children.
Yeah.
And you find that you have to have pretty much fun in the course. Yeah. As well. So just finding your passion for the subject. Yeah. Yeah,
because your job at the end of it, and oh my gosh, your job at the end of the day is to make sure the kids have fun at school, right? Yeah. So if you're not having fun,
because if they're at home and home's not home, because a lot of them don't have a good stable life. Yeah. School is their home. So you have to make that their area of safe space. Yeah. So that's what our job is as well. Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people consider that when they think of teaching as a career. No. It's like they think of, you come to work, you teach people, you leave. But I think the type of perspective of school is these kids' home for kids that don't have the best home lives is something that just goes overlooked by a lot of people. And it's emotionally draining on us as well. But that's what you sign up to. Yeah. Like,
It's an interesting thought. Yeah. You know, talking about these teachers that make influence in kids' lives, in your life, was there a teacher, like a specific teacher that comes to mind that you're like, wow?
I had a year 3 teacher. He was quite fun. He, do you know dojo points? No. So they're like little monsters. That you guys go to Queensland school, but I went to New South Wales. Yeah. So I'm like, whoa. But they're dojos, so they're little monsters that you had on the screen, and you used to get points. So the school that I work at, like the child's school, they have dojos, and you get points. And then he used to have, his name was Mr. Lancaster. Yeah. And he would have Lancaster dollars, and he would print them out. Yeah. And he had a massive shop, like the size of a room, and you could go around at the end of the year and buy, like, toys and everything. Really? I think he pushed the fun in a classroom. Yeah. And that drove, like, not just writing, because I have dyslexia. Yeah. So a lot of the writing and book work was quite hard for me. So he just made everything more fun and enjoyable in the classroom. So he was a big influence on me. Yeah. Actually, there's a few things to unpack there. What do you mean by these, like, what were they called? The dojos?
Yeah, what are dojos?
They're just a reward system.
So it's not like...
So it's online, so you have, like, a whiteboard. Yeah. Like a screen. Yeah. And your teacher goes, Shaman, you have good behaviour today. Yeah. And you get 10 dojos.
And it adds to the thing online, so he can keep track of how much...
he puts them all online, and then at the end of the year, if you have 50 dojos, you'll probably have like 5,000 dojos.
Oh, what?
He will turn that into 500 Lancaster dollars.
Yeah. And then you get to spend it.
Yeah.
Oh, what? That's like...
And then you could get like a toy car for 1,000. Yeah. Dojos.
That's sick. Dollars. That's like like Harry Potter house points, but like cooler.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like, what could you buy? Like, what's the best thing you could buy?
I think the best thing we bought was spiders. You know, like soft drink with ice cream in them. Yeah. He would have like a station, and you could go over and buy like as many ciders as you wanted.
Really?
Spiders as you wanted. Yeah.
That's sick.
But until we all got sick.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But, like.
Because my school used to have like slushies and stuff, and they stopped selling it. Yeah. They used to have a lolly.
I don't think all the teachers knew about this, but yeah.
Did you out Mr. Lancaster right now?
Mr. Lancaster, don't watch this.
If he's listening, he's gone. Yeah. We never had... Actually, we had like a box of goodies, and I think if you were good that week, you could put your hand in and you'd pull something out, you get like little goodies. But this is in grade 6, when I was in grade 6. And my teacher, she had a rotten apple in there, and it was always like, if you put your hand in, who's going to get the rotten apple? And it was like always a joke that someone would put their hand in and pick up the rotten apple, and then they'd have to put it back in to get something else. But it was just a fun thing to see in class. Yeah. Yeah. moving on from the Golden Apple. Actually, my school had, it's not really the Lancaster dollars, but in grade 6 we had like a phase where everyone was in, where, do you know what ushis are?
No.
They're like little toys, like little rubber toys you put on the top of pencils, like pencil toppers.
Yeah.
But they had different versions. They had like normal ushis and DC ushis and Marvel ushis. And I remember one day, I love Marvel, so I bought a Marvel ushi to school. And man, I started a craze. Everyone started bringing Marvel ushis to school and like buying them and seeing whose was the best. And one dude had Sparkle Spider-Man, which was like the rarest one you could get. Yeah. But your boy had Furry Rocket Raccoon, which is like the second rarest.
Oh.
And it was like a black market. Like people in class would like trade them. And in our desks, I don't know if all schools have this, but in Australian schools, a lot of primary schools have desks you pull out and that little like bump in them to put pencils. Did you have that?
We just had like caddies in the side of the room in New South Wales. We didn't have the desks.
Because I had like pull out desks.
Yeah, no, we had them in the side of the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But they had little like a bulge that you put the pencils on, but we'd stack all the ushis in them. So every kid would open a drawer and they'd have like ushi stacks just there. It was crazy. Yeah, I remember one teacher came in and she wasn't our teacher because our teacher was full on internet. Like I made her a Lego set at the end of her office. She was internet. She thought it was great. What do you call it? A teacher that came in when she was sick. What do they call those? Relief teacher. Yeah. She hated it and she like confiscated everyone's because she's like, no toys allowed at school.
You know what? You get some good relief teachers and then you get some and they don't want to be there.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of them.
Like, they're the teachers that you're like, retire.
Yeah.
Like, you're 20, but retire.
20?
I can start being a relief teacher next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So it's like you can start before you finish your degree?
Yeah, I can start end of next year. Yeah,
so
diploma. So I get my diploma at the end of this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when do you get your degree?
4 years. So
oh, okay.
27.
So you only need the diploma to...
Yeah.
To be a relief teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You go for all those teaching students out there. Now you know.
Yeah. So diploma, it's pretty much a Cert 3 in childcare. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but to be an actual teacher, you need a higher level.
You need a bachelor. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's interesting.
If you get halfway through, you're nearly there.
Okay, moving on.
Yep.
From the teachers that we had at school, what type of student were you at school?
Not a good one.
In what sense?
All my reports, Hannah needs to stop talking.
So, you were just talking a lot at school?
Yeah, I just talk a lot. Like, I get my work done, and I think once I got into year 10, I started to study more and work harder. Like, I chose the higher classes, and I knew that I had to do well. And I didn't do well on my ATAR, but when I got into uni, I started doing, like, really well.
Yeah.
So, obviously, something, I don't know what happened there.
Clicked.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
So, maybe I just didn't talk to anyone, but I nearly got kicked out of the library yesterday for talking. So
really?
It tells a lot about me that I talk too much. So.
For any hardcore everything you said to our listeners, you might remember Rahil from our first episode. I've had a few too many experiences with Rahil where I've nearly got kicked out of university libraries.
So we might get along then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really bad.
Yeah.
We went in the library once. In UQ they have a library called Central Library. And they have each level, as you get higher, gets quieter.
Yeah.
So the bottom 2 levels are like community levels. And we're sitting in a booth. And we were all playing Krunker. Do you know what Krunker is?
No.
It's like a game. It's like an FPS shooter game on your computer. But we also had the world's hottest chips with us.
Oh my goodness.
And if you lost, you had to eat the chips. And we were screaming in the library.
Do you have outside areas in
Pardon? Yeah, we did, but it was fun. People came up to us and asked to play because they wanted to try the trip. It was great. We were pioneers in the university.
People at my uni are just cranky. Like, they just sit there and they're like, what are you doing? And then when we're sitting there, my friend and I are sitting there at uni, and we just side-eye everyone. We're like, what are you doing?
Why are they hating on you? But honestly,
no, we side-eye them.
Yeah, for them hating on you.
Yeah, because we're the loud ones.
They don't... Actually, honestly, people are probably mad at me too for being loud at the library sometimes, but hey.
You know what? You made a podcast out of talking.
Exactly.
So good things come out.
We apologize for talking too much.
No, we don't.
A lot of stuff about teaching, a lot of stories about teaching.
Yes.
I feel like there's 2 types of avenues for that. They have really good, heartfelt stories about when teachers like change kids' lives. And then you have the opposite of the coin of just straight childcare horror stories. Do you have a childcare horror story?
Last year, when I started in before and after school care, we had a child that has ASD, and he nearly jumped off a balcony, 2-story balcony. This happened 3 times in 2 weeks.
Jeez, what's the process to like de-escalate that?
Well, I had to run after him and pull him off the balcony. So I think that's the worst that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't really had much else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've been in the force that long to really experience much, but yeah.
Have you heard any crazy stories from like your placement teachers or anything?
No, not really. I've only been on one placement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I worked at a primary school not last year, before 23.
Yeah.
So she didn't really have much.
Oh, that's fair.
A country town with 15 kids at school, so
you can't
really.
That just means there's more horror stories to come, right?
There is. When we have the podcast in 2 years,
there'll be a lot more horror stories. Are there any really good stories?
When I taught dance,
yeah,
I had a baby class which is 3 to 4, and 2 of the little girls called me mum, and I cried because I was leaving to come move up here to Brisbane. So I cried, and then I had to do a speech because I was leaving at our end of year presentation.
Yeah.
And I cried in front of 200 people, so that like you get the real connection with your students, and they feel like family. So I think that's something really special to me.
Oh, that's a really heartwarming story.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, until I was embarrassed because I cried in front of everyone.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it's fine to cry.
Yeah, we do it. It's okay.
It's okay to cry.
I do it at work.
That's actually really cool. I've only had I haven't even had that much of that type of experience, except for school when I left school. But I wasn't like a teacher or anything.
You don't think you've had any at work or anything?
I don't know. Maybe a bit.
Yeah.
When I realize the kids are growing up so fast, that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like when I see some of them, they used to be so cute and cuddly, they're like so cute, and then they come back the next year and they're like not as cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're just older.
Or like your attitude, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you used to be so nice. You know what makes me so sad? When they used to be so nice, and that one other kid comes and they become such a bully.
Mm-hmm.
I like you so much, but when you're acting up, I can't stick up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think that's what would be the hardest for me if I get like a year 6 class or something in the future, and you have to watch them leave.
Yeah.
Like you'll have them for the whole year, and then you're like, bye.
Yeah, that'd be so sad.
Yeah, I think that would be hard for me.
Because as a grade 12 student, I was horrid at mine. I remember before our graduation, we have like the school captain brings us in a room and he gives everyone an address, and he was crying. And my best friend was crying, but I wasn't crying. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm chill. And in our school, because I was a captain, we walked up the middle to like a procession. And usually I'd play in the procession band. And then I'd walk on stage. But because I was graduating, obviously I couldn't play in the band. So I was walking up with them. And I was like, yeah, I'm chill. And the school captain's crying. They're like, oh, you crying, man? Like, yeah. He's a great guy. And then the music started, I started walking in, bam, it just hit me. I was crying like crazy. And the whole school, this is like more than 1,000 people in the auditorium. The whole school's like, I'm crying like crazy.
More than my presentation.
Yeah, but I mean, you were speaking, I wasn't speaking.
Yeah,
but
true.
the captain sit on the stage, they have 2 rows of chairs, and like the higher ups in the school sit on one side, and the school leadership sits on the other. So it was the school captain, then me, and then the other school vice captain, and then the school boarding captain, because we were boarding school, and day boy school. And I remember, oh my gosh, I'm stumbling over my words. It makes me so sad. I remember the school song started playing, and I could not sing it. I was like, it was like tears falling down. And all of us on the stage were like crying. And like I wasn't super close to these guys, because they were all boarders and I wasn't. But like, it was like, we were so close in that moment. Like it was so embarrassing, me crying. And I remember we did the walker after. It was so bad. I came down, I'm like hugging all the boys. I'm like, boys, I'm gonna miss you. And we did the tunnel. It's so bad. There's videos of me just crying into people's arms. Yeah. That's the only thing I can really, like, the only type of crying thing I've done. But that was different because it's like a brotherhood. Yeah. It's not like teacher-student relationship.
As a teacher,
yeah. I mean, I was a nurse and I was sad leaving the aged care.
Yeah.
Because they get really attached to you.
I thought you were gonna say like they'll die soon, but I mean, that works too.
I wasn't really thinking about that,
Okay,
but that's good though. That's a really good story.
Yeah.
I hope there's more good stories to come.
Yeah, good ones, not horror.
I've got right.
Yeah.
Would you recommend to people listening who are wanting to do teaching, thinking about doing teaching, that the good stories mean a lot?
Yeah, I think focus more on the good stories than the horror stories. Like, I didn't walk in thinking that everything's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about bad things that are going to happen, and I don't really know how to deal with them. So I think that's what you need to look at.
Yeah.
The good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think you got to have a positive mindset, right?
Yeah.
Especially in teaching, it's a pretty
positive.
grueling career.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get a kid's attention. And before we talked about having the teacher's voice, do you have any other strategies, or are you taught anything else at uni for getting kids' attentions?
Not really. I mean, working in before and after school care, we have like 100 to 120 kids in the morning, and I can get all their attentions.
It's pretty impressive. It's very impressive, actually.
I lost my voice last vacation care for a whole week, so. But I've worked on that. Like, I don't yell at them anymore, but in a classroom setting, they're quite controlled, and they're used to more routine than what they are at OSH.
Yeah.
Because at OSH, they're just pretty much free range. Like, it is like chickens.
I like to say it's organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
Especially on a rainy day when there's like 100 kids in a small enclosed area.
We put them all in a hall, pretty much, and they run around.
Organized chaos.
And you have to look for one child with 120 children. Anyway, I think when they're in a classroom, it is much easier. When I was on prac, I got acknowledged for how well I did teaching the class, even handling children that I didn't have to handle. Like, that was definitely something that I can improve on even more. Like, that I do well already. So I think strategies are just depending on the children as well that you have, because you could have a class full of really good kids or kids with like diverse needs or special learning needs. Like, my teacher, dance teacher, she's also a primary school teacher. Last year she taught year 4 and she had a perfect class. This year she teaches year 3 and she said they're just all crying all the time.
Oh, geez. So it can switch up really quickly.
Yeah, she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And she can't use the same strategy she's used for the last 5 years. So I guess just you need to know your children again. Like, get that relationship with them.
Is it hard developing that relationship, or do you think it just happens?
I think it is. Like, there's kids at OSH that I've known for a year now. Like, I'm coming on a year in a couple of weeks. Yeah. And they still, like, they were friends with me a month ago. And then the other day, they're like, oh, well, they hate me now.
Actually, they switch up really quick, don't they?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
But you can't get upset about that. You just got to be like, step back for 10 weeks and then come back. But
that's fair.
There's nothing else you can do, but that's got to bounce back in teaching. So
that's actually a really good point, because I remember when I started at Dosh Care, I like became like the quote unquote favorite at Dosh Care, because everyone likes the new one. Guys,
just to let you know, I was a favorite before all the boys came. Yeah. And then the boys came, and I'm no longer the favorite. Yeah, because
that's with me. Then my 2 best friends started there. Yeah. And then they became the favorites, because it's like the kids move on quick. Yeah. It's like
now I'm the favorite again, because they're never there.
Except when we're like, who's the favorite? Miss Hannah and the other 2 educators are the 3 boy educators, and they're like, yeah, you guys. And we're like, yeah.
We're the cool ones.
Yeah. It's really interesting to think how hard it is to grab a kid's attention and how it differs in and out the classroom. That's actually a really interesting thought. Do you have any tips for any aspiring teaching students? Just going off of that.
I think decide whether it's the right choice for you first before you choose the uni course, because there is so many teachers that come into it and they get halfway or they don't enjoy it, get the whole way, don't enjoy it, and they're like sit there and the kids are like sad or they don't do well in school, and then they get out of school and they're like, I hated school. Like, you don't want to come out of school, like, have you ever had any bad experiences at school with the teacher that just sat there? Like, have you?
Yeah, what do you mean, like, just sat there? Like, you feel ashamed?
No, like, a teacher just sat there and didn't enjoy their work.
Oh, yeah. There's a few teachers like that.
There's been teachers like that. They're the teachers that don't actually enjoy their job. Like, you need to have a passion for it, and it is hard to find that. And if you don't, have a break. Like, that's why we talk about gap years for teachers. Yeah. A lot of teachers come straight from school because you're starting primary school, high school, straight to uni, that's school again. Straight to teaching, school again. Straight into classroom, school again. So there's all school, where, like, I had a gap year, which I was a teacher's aide at a school.
Yeah.
I still had the gap year where I had no responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't studying anything. I wasn't teaching anything, perhaps. And then I came into uni, and then now I'm at a childcare, but I do have the passion for it, where some people need like a year or two, just travel, do something that's not teaching.
Just to take that break from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't be in school all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to drain you, and yeah.
Yeah, what you said about the have you ever had teachers that just sit there?
Mm.
And as a tip to the aspiring teaching students, like, know if you like it or not. Have you ever had those prac students, or have you seen like the prac students that have come in that just obviously aren't passionate? Because remembering my school journey and thinking about the prac students I saw, I can really like remember the ones that really enjoyed it and the ones that didn't enjoy it.
It's hard to say though about prac students, because like for teaching, I don't like, nursing must be different. You must be all in the same area.
Yeah.
For teaching, we're all in different classrooms, and usually you only have 3 kids at a different, like 3 students at a different school.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for nursing. I'll barely see my friends
so we're all in a different classroom, and then we don't see each other.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're in classroom at uni, they will come in and they will sit there and not participate. So we talked about this before the podcast. When we're in a classroom, we're laying on the ground measuring ourselves.
Yeah.
That is our class at uni. So if you want to have fun at uni, that's what you have to do. Like, but they won't do that. You will see that.
You're just not participating.
Yeah. They will sit there, or they won't put their hand up. They won't answer questions. You're a teacher. That's literally your job.
Yeah.
To call out students. Put your hand up. Give ideas. You will see that they don't want to do that. They'll come in late. They'll just won't do anything. And you have to participate. You have to join in. Create ideas. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. It's a bit counterintuitive if they're coming to class to learn to be a teacher and they're not doing what they want their students to do.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's the same, but when I was in school in grade 11, I think, we had a prac teacher. He taught us chemistry, and I think he was passionate about the chemistry, but he wasn't passionate about the teaching. And it just, our teacher had to step in like multiple times. He was just teaching us wrong. Yeah. Like, he just couldn't handle the class, and I felt so bad for him.
So, like, my auntie does nursing. She's a nurse.
Yeah.
And she now teaches at TAFE.
Mm-hmm.
So she teaches nursing at TAFE, and she moved to Melbourne recently, and she teaches nursing at university.
Yeah.
And she hated teaching nursing at TAFE. But when she moved to Melbourne at university, she loved it. Because the kids at TAFE weren't as interested.
Yeah.
They're kind of just there because they just want to get the cert done.
Yeah.
Where the kids at university are passionate about it. They're ready to go into the course. Yeah. So there's the difference between students that want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think, even though uni, maybe, this isn't like a stat or anything, has a higher like percentage of kids who want to be there, there's still definitely kids that like don't. Yeah. Like, they're just there to do
they'll
it.
Figure that out for themselves. That's not up to like anyone else.
Yeah. But I mean, I can understand why a teacher would want to be in a space with more encouraging students. Actually, talking about a space with more encouraging students, do you think being in a class with, like, a quote-unquote challenging class with not as enthusiastic kids, is that harder to teach than a class with enthusiastic kids? Like, obviously it would be, right?
When you first start at the start of the year, like, I haven't had my own class before, so I can't, like, really say professionally. Yeah. Like, I think when you start at the start of the year, you can't say, my class isn't enthusiastic about work. It's like when we plan activities at work, a lot of the kids aren't interested. It's the way we show them how we've presented our activity. So say we have craft prepared for the afternoon, a puppet show, say we had the other week. If I stand up on the like grass area where we do our group time and say, we're doing a puppet show, are you interested in a puppet show, Shaman?
No, I don't want to do it.
If I say, Shaman, guess what? I have these cool puppets.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the puppet show?
Then I'm interested.
And I'll go, this one's named this one. This one's named this one. Like, you'll be interested then. So it's just the way that you deliver.
Yeah. Actually, I really agree with that. That's that makes sense. You can't categorize them as unenthusiastic or enthusiastic. It's the way that you portray what it is. That's really interesting, actually,
And one child might like not like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They might like, hey, did you want to help me present the puppet show? And they might want to be your helper.
Yeah.
Like, it just depends on the
And this all loops back to the relationships with your kids as a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
They're literally your children.
Basically. Because you see them sometimes more than their parents will see them.
Yeah. Especially Osh.
Yeah.
I'm there from 6 a.m. to 6:30.
Right, it's actually...
Like, I have the break in between the day, but they're at school.
Which is...
I see them more... They see me more than their parents.
Because that's 12 hours at school if they're there the entire time.
And they're asleep for majority of the night.
Yeah.
So it is hard on them.
So to sleep for 10 hours, then they have 2 hours with their parents.
So they see their parents for 4 hours a day.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That actually really puts it in perspective.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So when you see a child getting cranky at their parents, just think that they probably don't see their parents much and they're upset with their parents. So.
And kids get sad at the Osh too when they're tired too. I've had a lot of instances where kids have just come into Osh and they're just completely different and they're acting up.
Shaman's soft-hearted. He'll go hug a child.
I try to. Sometimes I hit him with I'll get really mad.
Yeah.
And I'll kneel down and whisper in their ears, "I'm really disappointed. You're better than that." And then they'll feel really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
But that's when they're in trouble.
Yeah, when they're in trouble.
Some naughty kids.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All the kids are great. Most of them are really great.
No side-eye there.
Yeah. Because some of the kids would be crying and I would use magic tricks to help them not cry.
Yeah, we love the magic tricks at Osh.
There was one time one of the little preppies was crying. Oh, he wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And we needed to get him to move. And my friend Ben was handling him. And I'm like, Ben, I got you. And I got my deck of cards and I gave it to him. And we pretended we did a magic trick. And the kid's like, oh my gosh. And he comes out from underneath the bag racks and he follows Ben. I'm like, yeah, that's what magic does for little kids.
Yeah.
But now they're onto me because I've done it so many times.
The magic works on me as well, so.
It's pretty good. Maybe I'll show one day on the podcast. But they get over it. They don't like it anymore. Yeah. I've got to stop for a bit and wait.
But that's the thing, I've struggled with that at the moment, planning. Yeah. I don't know if it's just Osh.
Yeah.
But they seem to be getting sick of things so quickly.
Maybe it's the attention span thing.
I know.
All people have shorter attention spans. Maybe it's the same for Osh. Maybe. I don't know.
Or just kids in general.
Probably, right?
It's technology.
Yeah.
I think technology-driven children. Because the primary schools are bringing a lot of technology in now.
Oh, yeah.
A course I'm doing this trimester is, because we do trimesters.
Yeah.
So silly. But anyway.
Yep, semesters are the right way
I think
to do
it's
it.
because we have to line up with the school.
Oh, okay.
System.
Oh, that makes sense.
But anyway, we're doing technology science this trimester.
What does that mean? What does that entail?
So we have to study technology.
How it works, how to use it?
Yeah, how to work a TV, how to work a laptop, how to do, coding.
So they're just teaching you, the bare basics of tech?
Yeah, and other stuff as well.
So when you're using it in school, in the workforce, you know how to use it?
Yeah, and
that makes
how
sense,
to teach children to use it.
Oh, wait, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, because schools are using technology all the time.
You know at Osh, how we don't use technology? Do you think it's hard for the kids to transition from 7 hours a day of using technology at school and going to before and after school care not using anything?
That's why their attention span, I think, is so short at the moment.
Yeah.
And then they're at home, and that's another thing, they're at home on their iPads. Are they seeing their parents?
Not really. Yeah.
So.
Because a lot of the kids are really young.
Yeah.
And they're telling me we play Fortnite and we do all this, and I'm like, you guys are really young.
Or they brain rot.
Yeah, they're brain rot and
they're
TikTok
4 years old and they're saying skibbity, and I'm like, are you good?
It's a bit. Yeah.
I
can see how technology plays a massive part, and as a teacher, it's really important to learn that, right?
Yeah. And
it's good they have that course at uni, I guess. Yeah. I have one final question for you, Hannah. You're doing teaching.
Yes.
It's a very honourable career. Yes. You're doing really well at it.
Thank you.
Your career's moving great.
Thank you.
Who's your inspiration?
I don't know if I have one.
You're just doing it for yourself?
I think so.
I think that's even more respectful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I rely a lot on my mum. At the moment, I call her every single day.
Yeah. That's really good, though.
At the moment, she has cancer, but we push through it. And, I do look up to, my teacher, my dance teacher, is a teacher. So I talk to her a lot. My uncle is a teacher. And then my auntie is a nursing teacher at the uni. I talk to my cousin a lot because she does business teaching at uni.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just talk to people around me, I think. I don't really inspire and look up to anyone, but I just be with the people around me.
I don't know, from the stories you've told me, your family sounds like a very strong family, especially your mum sounds like a very strong person. So
Thank you.
I think all those things are factors in you picking a great career and sticking to it.
Yeah.
Hannah, before we finish the podcast, we have a tradition on this podcast of a question I ask every guest when we finish. Now, in case you don't know, I'm sure the listeners know, we have a little mascot on the podcast. Yep. His name's Pip. Mm-hmm. He's a little pink duck. Now, Pip doesn't have a life yet, but every guest gives him 1 or 2 sentences that happened to him in his life. So I'll just explain to you the sentences now. The last sentence from our previous episode was, Pip then finds a girlfriend called Duckette. Pip exits his emo phase because he was emo. Yeah. So what happens to Pip next?
Oh, okay. So Pip's thinking about his career choice at the moment.
His current career choices are a fighter pilot in the Duck Air Force.
Yep.
Or a doctor or a stripper. He doesn't know yet.
He's exited his emo phase. Yeah. So is he still got duck hair, I presume?
Yep. So he's like back to being pink.
Okay. Yeah. And then he's got a girlfriend.
Yeah. Duckette.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Pip. Pip studies Air Force. Mm-hmm. He goes into Air Force.
Yeah.
His girlfriend joins a strip club. Pip goes to the strip club and finds his girlfriend cheating.
No, what?
There we go.
That's actually crazy.
There we go.
We can't do this to Pip. Are you sure you want to make that your sentence?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Sorry. We had
Ladies
to go somewhere.
and gentlemen, I am very sad to end this podcast today. Pip has it tough. I'm very sad to end the podcast here. I'm very sad. Pip has it tough. Yeah. Hey, tune in next week to see what happens to Pip. Hopefully something good happens. No way he did that to him. He better...
Rebounce next week.
I'm so sad. Oh my gosh, that's really sad. Okay.
Sorry, Shaman.
It was a pleasure having you on the show, Hannah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on Everything Etc. Thank you.